Welcome back, everyone, to this evening's edition of Lehigh Valley Sports Scene. Dan Freemuth back with you, and very pleased now to be joined by a trio of junior track cyclists currently training and competing over at Valley Preferred Cycling Center. Moving from my immediate right, further down, we've got Finn Koller from Bethlehem, Divya Verma from Briningsville, and Jonah Hover from Allentown. Guys, thank you so much for taking a break from your busy training schedule to join us tonight. We need to start with the most important thing. In the news industry, we are told not to bury the lead, so we're not going to do that. These three guys, all local to the Lehigh Valley, and all three of them represent 75% of our team from Team USA that will be competing at the Junior Track World Cycling Championships in Tel Aviv coming up later this month. Finn, let's start with you. What kind of an honor is that going to be able to represent your country on the international stage like that?
It feels great. I thank my coach and everyone that's helped me along the way. It's been long training days, and I'm super happy to be there and thankful to everyone that's supported me.
Finn, you're the elder statesman of this group at 18 years young. Divya, let's go to you next. You're the youngster here, just 16, a rising junior at Moravian Academy. When you think about all the hard work that's had to go into competing now at the World Track Junior Championships later this month, how do you kind of put that into perspective, all the work that's had to go into this?
I mean, yeah, a lot of hard work went into this, like physically, mentally, trying to balance a lot of different aspects of my life, but I'm really happy for the opportunity and really excited.
Jonah, to you next, 17 years old from Allentown, a rising senior at Emmaus High School. When you think about the honor of representing your country and the work that you've had to put in personally, how do you kind of sum that up when you think about going to Israel later this month?
Oh, it's a dream. It certainly feels like it's finally, paying off. I'm reaping all the fruits of, my seeds that I planted, I guess. I don't know. But it feels great just to be out there and represent your country. It's wonderful.
Well, congratulations to all of you guys. It's a huge honor, and obviously not just congratulations, but best of luck. The Junior Track World Cycling Championships will be taking place in Tel Aviv, Israel from August 23rd to the 27th, which, oh, by the way, is right before school gets started. And Finn, that's going to pose a bit of a tricky situation for you. You're going to move into your dorm at Uhlenberg, then go to Israel, only to come back in time just to start your freshman year. Have you kind of thought about what a challenge and whirlwind that might be for you?
Yeah, it's going to be pretty hectic getting into school. I've barely talked to my roommate, so we'll see how that goes over. Yeah, it'll be something, trying to adjust to everything as I get back.
You can tell your roommate, if you want to learn more about me, just tune in to the international cycling stage and see how I do in late August. Divya, we mentioned you're going to be a junior at Moravian Academy. How tricky is it to try and balance? We talk all the time about work-life balance. You guys really have a three-headed monster because you've got cycling, you've got school, and you've got life. So how do you try and balance that as best as you can?
Yeah, I mean, this past year, I sort of recognized that I couldn't give 100% into both my school and cycling life, so I kind of had to go back and forth between what I wanted to focus on. But for this next year, I'm going to try and dedicate some more time to training and working on improving in cycling.
Yeah. And Jonah, for you going into your senior year at Emmaus, does that mean you can officially just put it into cruise control on the school front, coast through that senior year and focus exclusively on cycling?
It's half and half.
I'm kidding, of course. I just want to make sure I'm kidding. But your senior year, I mean, that's a big year. You want to focus on that, but also the whole track cycling thing.
Yeah, definitely. It feels great because I'm taking less amount of classes, so I can focus more on cycling during the winter and I can improve even more. But it's really nice to be a senior because everybody tells me that the junior year is the hardest, and I wouldn't doubt them.
Yeah. That's my recollection, although for me that was 20 plus years ago. We're not going to go into how old I am, but that's how I remember it as well. Finn Koller, Divya Verma, Jonah Hover, again, junior track cyclists training and competing over at Valley Preferred Cycling Center. And let's talk about the Velodrome now. I've spoken with some of the international cyclists who've come through over the course of the summer, and you know, they talk about T-Town as one of the meccas of cycling, and here it is in our backyard in the Lehigh Valley. You guys are all local to the Valley. You grew up going to the Velodrome, training there, competing there. Finn, let's start with you. I mean, how cool is it to have Valley Preferred Cycling Center right here in our backyard, and how important has it been for your overall cycling development?
It's been amazing to be able to race against some of the top riders in the world and the top rider in the world.
Yep.
So it's been pretty crazy and a great experience that I can get at that track.
Finn's referring to Harry Lavreyson, who is, well, he is the greatest track cyclist on planet Earth right now, multi-time gold medalist, 9-time world championship. And earlier this summer, you lined up in a sprint. Finn and Divya are sprinters, and Jonah's an endurance rider. You lined up with him mano a mano. How did that go? Kind of what was going through your mind as you're about to take off, and how did the race go?
Yeah, I was really happy, and we were just staring at each other, smiling, and he was messing with his computer and stuff. So it was pretty fun. It was a great experience.
And you told me he put on a little bit of a show, maybe made it a little closer than
Yeah, definitely.
otherwise might have been, but great experience. And Divya, to you, I mean, what has T-Town meant to you? What has Valley Preferred Cycling Center meant to you in your training and overall development?
Yeah, I started off through the community programs at the Velodrome, like the Bicycle Racing League or BRL. And now just seeing as I've like sort of moved up through the ranks and I'm on a team and I'm, you know, going to Israel now, it's really special. And we've built this sort of community there, and to have everyone support you through, you know, these changes, and it's really special.
I'm glad you mentioned the word community, because all the cyclists we've had in, they've all talked about the community at T-Town, and some have even gone so far as to say that the family atmosphere that exists at Valley Preferred Cycling Center, whether you're from the Lehigh Valley or you just drop in to Valley Preferred Cycling Center, it's like that second home. And Jonah, for you, when you think about, these guys are all members of Edge Cycling, I should point out, but coming through Team T-Town. And Jonah, when you think about coming to Valley Preferred Cycling Center, watching as a fan, competing, training, what has the Velodrome meant to you?
The Velodrome is like a second home, really. The atmosphere is amazing. The camaraderie there is out of this world. The only place in the U.S. that really has, you know, this type of atmosphere, and maybe even the world. It's, you know, it's one of its own.
Yeah, Valley Preferred Cycling Center. I know I sound like a bit of a broken record all summer long, but we really are so lucky to have this hidden gem right in our backyard. And one of the benefits of being able to talk to all these cyclists all summer long is in the hopes that we here in the Valley won't take the Velodrome for granted and understand how important it is to these guys' development to bring in the international riders and hopefully train that next generation of cyclists. Again, Finn Koller, Divya, Verma, Jonah Hover. The last thing I want to get from you guys is just kind of a snapshot of your cycling journey. And Finn, we'll go to you first. When you think about sort of where it began on the bike and then relative to how you got to where you are right now, give us a quick little snapshot of that story.
My friend James Townsend, he was doing the BRL when I met him in middle school.
Okay.
And then like a year or so later, he told me I should start trying it. And I did, and then I joined his team and stuck with it since then.
And obviously it's gone very well for you so far. I should point out, Finn's a graduate of Liberty. Congratulations on your recent graduation. I guess that's a few months in the past, so the heck with that. Now we're moving on to Uhlenberg. And Divya, for you, we were talking before we came out on set, started with swimming, but that didn't really take for you and ultimately ended up on the bike.
Yeah, so I did swimming. That was the only other sport I really did. And then I got into cycling because of my dad and brother who sort of encouraged me to try it. And I enjoyed it, went to nationals a couple times, joined the team, and I'm happy with where I am right now.
Yeah, we certainly are happy you made that choice as well. And Jonah, for you, it was a lot of sports early on, right? And eventually kind of whittled it down to cycling.
That's right. I would race other kids in my neighborhood, and I wanted to try out racing. So I found a flyer in my mail for our Air Products program. We have lots of community programs for little kids wanting to get into cycling at the Lehigh Valley Preferred Cycling Center. It was a great experience. I loved it, and it just, I continued from there.
Well, it certainly has paid off for all three of these guys. Again, Jonah, Divya, and Finn all slated to compete at the Junior Track World Cycling Championships representing Team USA. In fact, right here you're looking at 75% of the Team USA contingent that will be going to Tel Aviv, Israel later this month to compete in the World Cycling Championships. Guys, thank you so much for taking the time to join us this evening. Tell us a little bit about your stories. And most importantly, good luck, have fun, and enjoy the experience. Thank you guys again so much.
Thanks for having
Thank
us.
you.
Finn, Divya, Jonah, currently training and competing over at Valley Preferred Cycling Center, but just for a little bit longer, headed to Tel Aviv, Israel at the end of the month. Best of luck to these guys. We're back to put a wrap on this evening's edition of Lehigh Valley Sports Scene right after this.